right, today's more of a casual chat, and I really want to talk about niching because I hear everyone and their mother talking about you are the niche and you don't have to niche if you don't want to. And as a social media strategist, this kind of irks me because I feel like there's not enough information on all of this. And I think that you need more clarity on it. And I just want to talk casually about this. I will make another video in a few weeks about how to effectively not have a niche or effectively have a niche and what makes you right for either. But I'm gonna tell you first and foremost, this isn't a thought out video. I'm casually just hanging out and talking to you about my perspective, my opinion, and my expertise to provide you some clarity on these topics. So with that being said, let's talk about niching. So if you're on the side of TikTok that provides social media advice, which is where I come from and where I come in, I'm sure you've come across a video or 5 that say you are the niche and you don't have to have one. As much as this can be true, and honestly, Gary Vee said this 2 years ago, so the fact that this is trending right now, I feel like is interesting because this was on YouTube. This video specifically was on YouTube 2 years ago about you are the niche and you don't have to focus on just one thing. What I think is taken out of context here is that Gary Vee specifically is a huge personality. He was recording literally every single thing. He had somebody following him around, constantly recording everything that he did, where a lot of us don't have that privilege or that opportunity to have every single thing that we do recorded. But at the end of the day, he's known as a marketer, he's known as a marketing expert, he's known as an overall entrepreneur. So even though he doesn't have a niche, he has such big of a name that he doesn't have to have a niche anymore because people are interested in everything that he does because he is an influence. And I'm not saying he's an influencer, but he is an influence. I don't want to discourage you and say that you can't be the next Gary Vee, or you can't be the next Alex Earl, or be the next Monet Michael. Because I think a lot of people execute better on structure. And when this phrase is being thrown around of you are the niche, it is very vague, doesn't give you any direction or structure. So it becomes very hard for you to navigate this social media world and why things are working, why things aren't working. If you want to make this a full-time job, how do you do it? How do you make money? And so my job here is not to give you the advice that you want, but the advice that you need, or the clarity that you need to really identify where you fall in this category. Let me break this down a little further. A niche honestly is a word thrown around, not as much as it should be, and I honestly can say that I've probably thrown it around in the wrong ways in the past too. But a niche is a very specific group of people. When I mean specific, I mean specific. I don't mean just 20-year-olds. I don't mean just 30-year-olds or people who have dogs. A niche is a specific group of people, down to the fact if I was a financial advisor, my niche would be helping people in their 20s get out of student loan debt and buy their first house. Very specific, right? So I'm not saying you have to go that far from day one or not create content until you have that really dialed in, because I know that's not ideal for everybody. So if you're stuck on this idea of I have a lot of interest, I want to be the niche, great, start like that. Because then you're gonna find through your process of creating content for 30, 60, 90 days, probably like 90 days, the 3-month mark, that you like to create content about certain things, certain content performs better. And after that, you'll be able to have certain topics that you create content on consistently. So maybe it's not a niche specifically, but it's like a semi-niche. And you most definitely do have a target audience. So let's rewind a little bit. Instead of focusing on the niche first, think about your target audience. Who is this person that you are trying to target? I talk about this in community a lot. Who are you talking to? Who are you providing value to? Is it the person in their 20s that is also a stay-at-home mom or wants to be a stay-at-home mom, that loves listening to music and podcasts, hangs out with their significant other often, drinks matcha, coffee, loves drinks? Like, who is this person? Can you describe them? And it's okay if this person is you, as long as you know that there's more people out there like that, which I guarantee there is. We're in a huge, ginormous world, so more than likely there is. But it might be easier to start there. Who's going to watch my content and enjoy my content? And let me describe them. So try doing that as an exercise and see how that helps you. It goes a little bit different for influencers versus business and service providers, but target audience are very similar of who are you targeting? Who do you want to buy your product? Who do you want to provide value to? Who do you want to provide a service to? For service providers and business, this is probably a lot easier than it is for influencers or aspiring influencers, just because you know who your services can provide help to. In the beginning, I helped women entrepreneurs with their social media, and that was my only target audience. So 80% of the content that I made was for women entrepreneurs and advice towards them, and the other 20% was on the more general sense, or was about me, or was about other interests that I have. So I really don't want you to write off niches as a bad thing, or target audiences, or targeting a market. With this video, I just want to get rid of the stigma behind niches and that they're only a box and you can't get out of them and that they're bad. But it is structure, it is direction, and it is a great way for people to grow on social media. For example, on this YouTube channel, I create content for content creators, TikTok, entrepreneurs, and productivity. Although those are 4 different things, they fall into a target audience that likes to watch my videos, but it's majority on TikTok because that's what I'm known known for. And that's the kind of content that I know that I am an expert in, a go-to person in, but that doesn't mean that people can't benefit from the other few things that I also do create content on. It's just not the majority. So same thing with being an influencer. And I do want you to think for a moment, instead of thinking I'm the exception and I don't need a niche and I can do this without a niche, I want you to think about your favorite creators that you watch consistently. And I guarantee there's a few things about them or content that they create that you remember every single time. Even when we talk about Alex Earl, hers are get ready with me's, stories, and partying and doing makeup. Although everybody wants to say that she doesn't have a niche because she talks about different things, she does. And she has consistent topics that she talks about in her content, consistent locations that she creates her content, a similar style with every single one of her videos. Monet Michael, another amazing creator that I would consider a lifestyle creator. She takes us along in her journeys with her friends. We start to see her friends. She does her makeup all the time and honestly is great at makeup. She does really great makeup, so that's something else we know her for. She also has been doing a lot of fitness recently, and although this is lifestyle, she stays consistent with those topics. It's not like she does fitness for one day and then never does it again. She'll do it consistently for a few months. Her makeup has been something consistent all the way throughout. Her editing style, very consistent. Her locations, very consistent. So although we want to think that we can be loosey-goosey with strategies and post anything we want on these platforms and it's gonna respond just because we're us, it's not the reality because there has to be some consistency. Consistency with formats, consistency with topics, consistency with editing styles, location, expertise, storytelling about similar things, whether that be dates, going to college, social media, a breakup, concerts. There's so many different things that can be consistent within your profile, but you need to pick 2 to 3 that are going to be consistent consistently. So if you want to start your TikTok, if you want to focus on I am the niche and that's why I'm going to run with it, just remember that consistencies are important throughout that. At the end of the day, I do feel like a lot of creators do have niches, whether they say so or not. Certain content performs better than others. Doesn't mean that you're in a box. You can still create content and make somebody like your personality and make them like you, rather than just your education, your knowledge, and your editing, without having to just be the niche. Right here, right now, I'm letting you on an insight in my life that I like coffee, I drink coffee, I like checkers, I like green, and you start to identify these things. So just remember that niches are a very specific type of person. Instead of focusing on target audience, and it gives you structure of how you should create your content, what interests these people have that you can create content on that they should resonate with. And it not only provides you structure on the content that you're gonna create, but how you can get better for these people and how you can cultivate your community better. And so although I know this was kind of all over the place, it's really just a chit chat and just a way to kind of rant and tell you my thoughts behind these topics. But as soon as I can, I will create a guide on how you can do this successfully, whatever direction that you are going. But my goal is in a couple of weeks is to make a video on how you can do this successfully and how you can find your people on social media, whether that means niching, target audience, or just focusing on a certain market. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments because I'll be answering them in my next video on niching. Talk to you soon.